Yo, what's going on, y'all? It's your boy SoSo, and welcome back to the channel. Make sure you're hitting that like, comment, and subscribe button, and more importantly, turn on those notifications. That way you guys get notified when we drop hits like this. On this episode, we're breaking down the big game and the new NFL champion. The Heat didn't make any moves during the trade deadline, and it's time for the UN basketball team to shine. It's time to take a ride, y'all. Let's go! What's going on, my dog?
We're back here.
We're back in
the lab. In probably the fan favorite, you know.
It is one of the highly rated backdrops.
Setting and backdrops that we've had for the show.
Absolutely, absolutely.
We got the little sunset going on, so pardon us if we have some camera issues. We'll bear with us.
The vibes are there though.
Yeah, we got vibes. We got vibes, and we got opinions to speak.
Yeah.
On some recent sporting events.
A lot of sporting events, bro. The biggest of them all just went down, right? Super Bowl, I think what, 50?
I have no idea. Don't even know.
Something, whatever.
It's definitely
up there. But it was a lackluster in action, right, between the Seahawks and the Patriots, but that just attests to how good those two teams are defensively, right? We knew that Seattle going into this game was obviously the better team, defensively better team overall, but the Patriots' only chance of winning this game is by making it a defensive game, playing in the mud, and really giving Seattle all they can handle. Yeah. And they did that, dog. Both defenses came out.
It was a whack game. Your word is going to be lackluster. Mine is going to be whack. Because I mean, halfway through it, it was at the half, it was like 9-zip.
Yeah, 9-zip.
So, it was like, come on, man. Like, we can't even get the high-powered offense. Jackson Smith almost had a touchdown. If Darnold puts a little more air on it,
yeah,
he nobody's catching him if he catches that ball. That was early on or whatever, but they had to settle for field goals that whole first half, and then the second half, Seahawks just ran away with it even more. They had a 9-point cushion, and they ran away with it in the second half.
I think they were just content to keep scoring field goals, right? Because they knew that New England's offense was going to struggle mightily to score, and they did, right? Yeah. And Stevenson ran the ball well, right? There were a couple of times where he ran the ball well for the Pats, but May did not play well at all. No. You know what I mean? Except for those maybe 8 minutes of game time that he showed what he's capable of, right? He threw that nice touchdown. He threw a nice pass to Mark Collins, and then he threw the touchdown to him, which was also a good pitching catch.
That was about it for his highlights.
That was it.
He played terrible compared to how he played all year. He was an MVP candidate.
Missing throws.
Didn't play great.
Yeah, man. It very unlikely.
And you said, that what's his face? Ramondre Stevenson ran the ball well, not as well as Kenneth Walker,
Ooh-wee.
the third, who ended up winning the MVP of Super Bowl, rightfully so.
Absolutely.
That guy was going crazy yesterday.
Yeah, dog, and powerful running, running. You know what I mean? This dude was averaging like 6.5 yards a carry, running through tackles, getting first downs, keeping Seattle out of long third downs, which was key in that game, right? Darnold was able to really pick his throws. Yep. Bro, it was definitely not an exciting game, right? But sometimes you get that when you have two defensive teams that meet in the Super Bowl. It's bound to happen, right?
Sure.
Yeah, and the Pats, listen, one stat that I saw that, kind of credit them to being there, right? Yeah, they kind of had an easy schedule, whatnot, but they were also the second seed in the AFC, right? This year, that defense allowed 18.8 points per game. That defense is for real, and they definitely gave them a shot. If they had a better offense, who knows? They probably scored a touchdown or something like that, but yeah.
And there was a defensive touchdown in the game, too. So
correct.
What was the final score?
29-13.
29-13, so they still let up 22 points.
Right. A good game, dog. In my opinion, it wasn't
more than receiving average. Nah, it wasn't.
It wasn't.
I can't even call it a good game, bro. It was probably one of the more,
Bro, if that's an AFC,
it's one of the least memorable Super Bowls in the last 5 years.
100%. That's fair, right? But if that's a NFC AFC playoff game, it's okay, right? By that standard, not exciting, but the dominant team won, right?
Right. For a Super Bowl, for the last game of the season,
you want that.
You expect fireworks.
Yeah, you want
kinda
that.
Kind of that halftime show. That was probably the highlight for us, I would say, right? Everybody here,
sure.
all Latinos, all anybody in South Florida, anybody in a Spanish-speaking place.
I think that
halftime was the show.
I think that for the Latino Hispanic community, obviously it meant a little extra. However, I feel like his type of music, Bad Bunny's type of music, is multicultural, right? Like anybody listening to that at a bar, at a club, you know what I'm saying, at a wedding, you're gonna vibe to that at some way, right? And I think that it was a solid pick because he brought that vibe, right? That game was dead in the water by halftime. It was 9-zip, and this guy turned the volume all the way up to the max, right? So it kind of got the life back into a lot of people's Super Bowl party.
Re-energized that stadium.
You get me? The energy.
Did you know that all those trees? But before seeing it today, did you know that?
Yes, I did. I promise you.
Don't lie.
Chica, I would never lie to you, dog. Come on,
I had no idea those were people.
Yeah, man. I only noticed it because you know how sometimes they do like those little cutaway scenes, right, where like they show them like preparing it and stuff. Like a couple of them were like waddling up, and I was like, that ain't no robot.
Yeah, okay. I didn't see that. There was a lot going on. And stuff.
But that's what again.
When it came on is when I started paying attention. But I saw all of those and I'm like, damn, this is elaborate. Like, how did they set all this up like this? And then today I started seeing all the posts of all the people in the costumes and all the memes and stuff, and I'm like, oh, those were people.
Nah, and he had definitely a who's who there, right?
Oh, in the casita.
Not only in the casita, you had the Mexican boxer there. Damn, his name escapes me right now. They had the Puerto Rican boxer, Xander Zayas, who just won a belt, right? Him and the other dude were representing that Latin culture. You know what I mean? Like there was people there, right, that really attributed to sports, to Bad Bunny, to Americans, like being known as Americans, not necessarily Latinos, right? Like there's a bunch of people there. Alex Grubman was there, dude. Like this dude.
Yeah, I saw that.
David Grubman, excuse me. David Grubman was there, dude. Like that guy's
Alex Earl.
Right. Alexi Earl was there, right? And that's, again, just shows you the different levels of multicultural togetherness that show brought.
Who else was there? It was Cardi B, Pedro Pascal.
Yeah, dude.
The one, Jessica Alba.
Dude.
I was like, bro, is that Jessica Alba?
Yes, guy. You feel me? Like, he brought out Lady Gaga, dog.
Wait, what was up with that?
Dog, again.
Why couldn't we get, like,
a duo?
We didn't need a J-Lo. But like, give me another like Spanish artist.
Nah,
why were you throwing Lady Gaga? Like, no disrespect. No offense, Gaga.
No. I think that the message is togetherness, dog. You know what I mean? And he's bringing people
together. She was
together.
representing the whites?
No, dog, not at all. She was representing, right? Again, her type of crowd, right, may not be big Bad Bunny fans, but they're, as far as his music goes, but they're Bad Bunny fans because of what he stands for. You know what I'm saying? Sure. Like what he protects in that community, what he stands for in the LGBTQ community. Like that type of stuff is what he stands for. So it's easy for them to pair and be like, damn, we have those same type of values. We both make awesome music that millions of people enjoy. He's like, bro, why don't you come to my show? And she was like, absolutely, I'll go to your fucking show. To do a Super Bowl, dog? Yeah, this is gonna be awesome. I'm gonna be on Bad Bunny's show.
No, she's a global superstar too.
A mega superstar. So again, the concept I think that Bad Bunny was putting out there was like, we're gonna turn this bitch up, we're gonna have a great time, everybody's gonna jam, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna throw wedding in that bitch, we're gonna have all these different things that are important represented. You know what I mean? I think it was the highlight of the show, of the Super Bowl, in my opinion.
A lot of people hating on it.
Hey, bro, haters gonna hate, dog. But you know what type of hate that is? They hating on success, dog.
They hate us because they ain't us.
When you're on the Super Bowl stage, bro, and you're representing your culture, regardless of whatever your culture is, and you get a chance to express that, you're gonna do it, bro, and you're not gonna be apologetic about it. So
that's right. No, it was great, man. I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, bro.
And I enjoyed it way more than the game. Like I said, the second half came.
100%.
They had the Patriots never really got back in it, and the Seahawks just ran away with it.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
You got a running back for MVP.
Right. And he deserves it. Shout out to the Seahawks.
He did.
Awesome team all season. Shout out to Sam Darnold. You know what I'm saying? A literally rags to riches type of story. They threw him away in the NFL.
Bro, but
Super Bowl winning quarterback now.
When he got drafted by the Jets early on, I liked his like mechanics, like his
he looks like
attributes.
A quarterback.
Yeah, like all that stuff. And the Jets kind of just ruined him, bro.
They do that to everybody. A lot of players.
Facts. That's facts. But football season's over, so
for now. In the terms of no more games. But that just means that the clock has been turned on, the off season, baby. So that means that trades are going to happen. Draft considerations are going to be thought of. We got the combine coming up in a couple of weeks. There's a lot of things that we have to look forward to as far as NFL fans, but more specifically as Dolphins fans, right? With our show OnlyFans. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that we're going to be looking out for in terms of movement in the Dolphins. Their new regime taking over. What are they going to, do? Their first steps are going to be highly critical and scrutinized. So we're going to be here to do that. So yeah, it's exciting. The NFL never stops, bro.
Yep. I'm curious to see what kind of moves this new regime makes, bro.
They got a lot of work to do, bro. Let's be honest.
We don't know them. We don't know what the tendencies are. We don't know what's important to them. So this is going to tell us a lot about the next couple of years.
And look, to kind of wrap this up with what we started, right? The Pats, they made it to the Super Bowl. They recently hired a new coach. They have a second, third-year quarterback. Like, that's a project that accelerated quickly, right? Are the Dolphins' new regime going to be able to accelerate their growth, right? Because there are pieces of talent here. We've seen it. We know it. We've talked about it.
Yeah.
So,
and we're gonna pay up some of Tua's contract so we can try to move him. So
yeah, but it's part of the moves that how they do it, right? And when they do it is part of what we're looking out for.
It's
so
necessary.
Let's see what happens, man. NFL is gonna keep on churning, and so are we. Let's jump into the next topic, which is a big one, dog.
Okay.
Because
I'm ready.
We talked about the Giannis trade being a possibility. All the speculation and the rumors was that not only had the Heat made the attempt to go get him, they presented the best offer. Milwaukee considered it 88% of the way. Like, they were invested in what the Heat had to offer. Nobody else was touching the Heat's offer, not even close. Teams were making other trades as the deadline was closing. And Giannis and Milwaukee decided to kind of patch things up, right? Kiss and make up, and he announced that he was staying, right? There's two ways that I feel about that. The first one is, that's strange that you stay there when you said that your commitment was to winning. Milwaukee hasn't won shit for you since you won. They haven't made moves. They haven't really put you in a superstar player next to you. They've done everything but that. And when you asked them to do it, they resoundingly told you, no, we can't do it. They didn't really make any big moves. They were supposed to get Ja to play next to him, or that's what they were throwing at him, right? Didn't happen. The second way that I feel about it is, I think that the Heat's game plan of how they go after players like Giannis, not necessarily him, but players like him, has to change, right? Because if you tell me, hey, we're throwing the kitchen sink at this guy and he's still not a lock, then there's something wrong about the approach. You know what I mean? There's something wrong about the destination. There's something wrong, right? Because history keeps repeating itself, where we're not putting ourselves in the best position to go ahead and make that trade, sign that player, whatever. The one exception that I would put is the Dame Dash one, right?
Dame Dash?
Dame Dash.
No way we got Rockefeller Records.
When he wanted to get traded here, right? They literally told him, no, dog. Yeah, that's the best offer. We're not gonna get anything close to that, but we're not gonna do what you want us to do.
Isn't that what's happening here right now with Milwaukee too?
I don't think so. Because I think that Milwaukee is playing this game with Giannis, right? And Giannis is playing this game with Milwaukee to say, oh, I'm leveraging you. And they're both saying that to each other. But if you look at how they're built, they're not built in order to flip assets to make a big splash. They would have done it. You know what I mean? And maybe you don't go get a veteran, but you get a young guy, right, that helps Giannis win right now. Because, yeah, they're winning games here and there, but they're winning it off the strength of his back and pure effort. You know what I mean? It's not because the team is playing well around him that puts them in that position. So that's why I feel like those two things are like what showcases, right, that the Heat are lacking. The Heat are lacking something in their approach to closing these deals that is preventing them from doing so. Because they're getting in the room, they're getting to the players, they're making good deals, they're making good offers, they're doing everything but getting the guy or the team to sign on the dotted line, right? And pushing that across.
I mean, the word on the street, the pulse, right?
Streets, dog. My dog's connected in the streets.
I mean, just the pulse from the fans out there in some of my closer circles. is that Pat Riley's got to go. And I don't know, like, it's hard for me to say that because it's like, dude, like, how much success have we had because of Pat Riley? You know, it's always been trust the Godfather, let him work, let him do his thing. You know, but, you know, you've brought it up before, that the NBA today, the climate, the culture, like, things have changed as far as the way things operate. And who knows, like, maybe he's highly respected, but at the same time, he's not playing the same game that some of these other guys are. And we're back. And we're talking about Pat Riley and how he potentially is washed, bro. You know, like, it's been how many people have we were we supposed to definitely land? Dame Lillard, Kevin Durant,
Harden,
Kawhi.
Ja was mentioned.
Now Giannis, you know, which everything leading up to, there's a buzz, there's a hype, like, yo, this might be real. The Heat might be getting him.
Shams reported it, dog.
But then, so the thing I have to ask you, dog, is in that package, bro, we were giving up a lot. Future picks, current starting players that are
first round draft picks,
part of the rotation regularly on a nightly basis.
Yeah.
So then it's like, okay, we would have brought this superstar here. Who were we gonna have around him now to be able to change the dynamic of this Heat team?
There's the good part about that is that in bringing in Giannis, what that would have done is open up cap space, right? In order for us to fill in the rest of the roster, right? Bam, bam, bam. There's a lot of space that we would have created there. Yes, it is a lot. But when you're talking about a guy like Giannis, right? An NBA MVP, Finals MVP, like, you go after that guy, right? 100%. That's like SGA coming on the market in 3 years. You go after that guy, right? Barring any major injuries, that guy's gonna be the hottest fucking free agent that ever existed at some point, or get close to it, right?
My thing is, and you can
go
see
ahead,
your train of thought, is the age difference. Giannis is already 30 plus,
Fair.
right?
Right.
SGA in 3 years won't even
He'll be closer to 30.
He'll be 28.
28, 29,
You know
kind
what
of
I
in
mean?
your
So-
prime, right? But still, what I'm saying is that those type of players, when they become available, right, you go after. Giannis isn't a Ja. He's not a, you know, no disrespect to any other players that got traded this offseason, right? Or this trade deadline, whatever. None of them can even get close to Giannis.
Yeah.
None of them,
He's
right?
the Greek freak.
Exactly. So he's the one-of-one guys. So when you have those one-of-one guys, you go after and you make the trade at any cost.
Sure.
I don't think they offered Bam because then that's the entire team, right? And that makes no sense.
Forget about
and that makes no sense. So, and there were other pieces there that would have stayed. But ultimately, what matters the most, right, and you pointed it out, is that they've been unable to get the deal done for whatever reason. Is it because of Pat? Maybe, right? Maybe. Because he may be approaching those deals in a certain way. But one thing I will say is that for Pat, he's always in that position. How the fuck is he doing that, right? How is he putting himself at that place where he can sit down and say, yo, this is what I'm offering you, right? Because he's done that with those players that we mentioned. It's not like he's calling them on the phone or video chatting them, right? No, he's doing shit in person. That's how he does business. Again, I think that the way that we close the deals is what matters the most. Who's the one closing the deal? It can't be Pat. It can't be Pat. And I say that because Pat's going to be the one to open the door. And right, call the other GM, owner, whatever, and say, yo, I need Andy to meet with your guy right now. Hook him up. Right? Yeah, cool. Andy goes in, he sets up the meeting, whatever. But I think that the Heat really have to take a step back, right? And take a look at it from the outside and say, what are we doing, right? Or what are we lacking in order to get these deals done? Because that's going to really determine how the rest of the roster is created or refurbished, let's say, in the next season. This team is not going to look the same next year. I can guarantee you that.
I hope not. I mean,
no. Is that I can guarantee you that team?
I don't know how much longer we could take.
It's not.
The same
It's not.
thing.
It's not. There's a lot of questions around it, right?
No offense. I love all those guys, man. You know what I mean? But it's like they might be better off going for a new start, going somewhere else, playing for a new team. You know what I mean?
Dude,
everybody might need a reset, a fresh start.
Somebody's gonna offer Norman Powell a lot of money.
Yeah.
right? Somebody's gonna make an offer for Tyler Hero,
For
a
sure.
low ball offer, but they're gonna make an offer, right? They're gonna ask about Hawkins. They're gonna ask about Khalil Ware. They're gonna ask about those guys. You have to be willing to say, how good can this guy be? Does he grade out to superstar material for us on our evaluation? If the answer is yes, you keep him. That makes sense. If the answer is no, then that cannot prohibit you from making a deal. You get what I'm saying? Maybe you don't go out there and dangle no more. You call every fucking team and say, yo, I got Hawkins, I got Hawkins, I got, right? But if somebody calls you and says, yo, we're interested in a fucking first, a future first and a current first for Hawkins, yeah, bro. Not saying that that's the offer, right? But if they call you with some fucking something ludicrous like that, then you gotta take the deal. You gotta consider that, and that's where that evaluation process of the team starts. Because if you notice the trend in the NBA, dog, is that it's young stars, young players. How do you get those young players? You either gotta draft them, or you gotta find a way to get them in your late round picks. Because unless you have a top 10 pick every single year, like the Spurs did, like Oklahoma City did, like the Boston did, right? Philadelphia for a couple of years. Unless you're willing to do that, which I don't think the Heat are, or they haven't historically, right? This can change. Unless you're willing to do that, you really gotta find the talent. The Heat have been good at finding talent. Okay, that's great, but now you have to find superstar talent. You have to find guys that are gonna really exceed what you're doing. The Heat have been really good at taking D players, right, and making them C+ players. They need to get C+ players and make them A- players. That's what they need to do. Is it easy? No. But that if you want to survive in today's NBA, you got to do that. Because it's either tank it for a couple of years and you get all those picks, whether they're first, second, third, whatever you want, you're going to be picking in the top 10, right? If you're a bad team over and over again. Again, reference those teams that I mentioned. But I don't know if the Heat are willing to do that. But something has to change, Joel, because this team's not good.
I agree with that. Something has to change within the way that they're running that organization.
100%.
We gotta change it up, man. We gotta change it up. We can't keep barely making the play-in tournament.
No, dude. Like right now, look.
Like that's not Heat basketball. That's not Heat excellence.
28-28 on the season, dog. And we're playing a 17-win team tonight in the Jazz. If we don't go out there and smack these guys, dog, I'm going to blow my freaking brains out. But there's a good chance that we lose this game where it's a tight game heading into the fourth quarter.
Sure.
And that's the shit that frustrates us because this team has talent. Not saying it doesn't have talent. It does have talent. But the talent is either limited, right? Old, right? Or too young, inexperienced, whatever you want to call it. It's talent, but it ain't the good versions of talent that you want to have. You know what I mean? Because we talk about Bam all the time on this show, right? But he's a limited, talented guy. Amazing defensively, but extremely limited on offense. And that's that this year he's shooting threes like crazy.
Right.
You know what I mean?
How do you feel about that?
He has to do it, dog. It's part of his development. If he wants to have a long NBA career outside of just playing for the Heat, then he needs to adapt his game. You need to be able to hit a three because when you go play for somebody else, you're going to be like, can you shoot? And if you're a big man and you say, no, I can't shoot, they're going to be like, cool, we got a spot for you way down there. You see that guy at the end? Yeah, sit right next to him. No, you got to play, dog. You got to be able to shoot if you're a big man, and he knows that. He knows that. But whatever, this team needs a lot of change. And I think that the way that they're going to do that is by making some drastic decisions and really sticking to them. Whether that's Pat opening the door and getting somebody else to close the deal, right? Getting Spo involved in somehow, some way, assistant GM, whatever.
Spo's got to worry about coaching.
Maybe, but you can't coach shit. And at some point in the NBA,
he has, bro. The only reason we make the play-in tournament and all that and stay competitive is because of Spo, I feel.
100%, but that's when he was young. This is a different man now. This is a different man. This is a different Spo. You know, he doesn't want to take care of fucking babies. Whether you're a baby in age or a baby mentally or egotistically, right? We saw that shit with Jimmy Butler. You want to be a bitch? No problem, dog. There's a door, right? That's what he's about right now. So how do you give that guy the tools he needs that he can do his best job coaching? You know what I mean? Like think of vintage Pop, right?
Greg
Think of
Popovich.
it. Yeah, when he was with the Spurs and he had that veteran-laden team. I wasn't the youngest or whatever, but they put one young guy on that team, Tim Duncan, with another good veteran player, and what they do? Win championships. Found talent, turned that talent into veteran team, veteran leadership, and they just recycle that. You know what I mean? That's what we got to do right now. We got to find a way to do that and give Spo the tools, not all these young, talented players. We got to get this guy some NBA-ready players. You know?
Agree.
Let's see if it happens, right? No trade deadline moves. That means that's going to be a busy offseason for the Heat.
That's just disappointing again.
Yeah.
Yet another season where we think we're in the running for somebody new, for something to get us excited as fans, and falls through once again. So now we have to look forward to the offseason and see if something happens there.
Yeah. Because truth be told, seeing this team drag itself into a play-in tournament is not going to be it, y'all. Trust me, it's not going to be enjoyable, but we're going to be here for it in case they do turn it around. Hopefully they get a win tonight against the Jazz and get above 500 at least.
That'd be nice.
Let's wrap up with a team that deserves some big-time shine down here.
Talk to me.
We're talking about UM basketball, dog.
We're talking about UM basketball. March Madness is right around the corner.
Correct.
It's just about that time of year.
Yeah, and this team has really done a lot of great things under some good leadership. You're talking about a new head coach in John Lucas Jr., right? Son of legendary coach, Georgetown coach, John Lucas. And this dude, came headfirst into the job, right? Knowing that this athletic department was really putting its strength behind it, right? In NIL, being active in the portal, getting the right players in to buy into
the reason why Coach L left, right?
100%, right? Because
he didn't want to deal with the NIL.
Not that he didn't want to deal with it. He knew that it takes a certain amount of energy, right, to do that job today. Like we see it with Mario Cristobal. That dude's working 24/7. If you tell me Mario Cristobal is Saban's age, yeah, maybe he doesn't want to do that, right? But now that he's younger and he has the time and the energy, he's going for it full speed. And I think the athletic department did the right thing in getting a guy in who has that background in basketball, right? Is really decorated, has played the game, know what it takes to, get in touch with the kids, recruit, to build a program, and give them the shot and say, here's the keys to the Lambo, let's grow. And he's done it this season, man, because his team has really responded. They've been playing great all year. Unfortunately, they're not ranked yet, but they are competing in the ACC, which if you're talking about basketball and college basketball, that's like a powerhouse conference. And this guy has the team in I think third right now behind North Carolina and Duke in the ACC, which is pretty impressive.
Would you say in college basketball the ACC is a stronger conference?
I would say the Big 12.
SEC?
No, I would say the Big 12 because the Big 12 you're always going to get, you're getting big dudes, NBA body ready. You know what I mean? Like dudes who are athletic, can run the floor, shoot, and are sound defensively.
I'm just thinking about all the people, all the schools historically, like the Dukes, the Kentuckys, the FSUs. Villanova maybe is ACC too, I want to say. I'm thinking about all those schools. All those are ACC.
Yeah. But look, you're talking about Clemson, Duke, Virginia, NC State, North Carolina, Louisville.
ACC.
That's all ACC. But if you're talking about Indiana, right, Oklahoma, Texas, those are teams that always perform in the tournament. You know what I mean? And they're gonna make a top eight, elite eight. Kansas, yeah, you know what I mean? Kentucky. There's a lot of teams up in there. That they don't.
Kentucky's not ACC. Okay.
No. They're AC. They're Big 12.
Gotcha. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
All right.
So that's why I say if you're talking about basketball, that one traditionally has always been better, and now the ACC is competing because of, again, the level that Duke and North Carolina has raised. They raised everybody else in the ACC to step their game up, right? Including our program, right? Even we saw it with Coach L, there were a bunch of years where this dude is taking team after team deep into the NCAA tournament, right? Making a Final Four. That's hard to do against the big dogs, right?
Yeah.
The old school teams that traditionally make it there. But man, John Lucas, he's really got something going on down here in Coral Gables. It's good that the program is backing him, right? He's got a good mix of young kids and also a couple of grown men that have been in the NCAA before, know what it takes to train and really be in the locker room, set an example, practice hard, eat right, you know what I mean, and bring that attitude to the court. And that's why they beat a lot of teams. It's not that they're explosive offensively. Yeah, they can put up points here and there. But when you watch UM basketball, what you're going to see is a lot of defensive work, right? And that includes rebounding. And we know how big that can be in the tournament, because the last 2 times the Hurricanes were in the tournament, it was based off their defense. Yeah, they had guys who can score, but anytime they needed a stop or a big rebound, they got it. So I'm interested to see what this team is going to be able to do, not only for the rest of the season, but also in the ACC tournament, because I really think that they're a dark horse, to upset one of those 2 teams.
Do you think that the fact, I know that we lost, ultimately we didn't win, but do you think the fact that they made it to the national championship, they had so much success, the football program that is, that kind of motivates and gets the rest of the athletics, hey, let's step up, they get kind of inspired by that kind of stuff, or you think that's all very separate?
100%. Google the dude's name, the athletic director, real quick, because I want to make sure I say his name properly. But what he's done is not only just say, yeah, this is a football program. He said, okay, UM is known athletically to develop talent. That means soccer. We've had really good soccer teams in the past.
Dan Radkovich,
thank you, dog. I didn't want to butcher that.
Something like that.
We've always been traditionally good at soccer. Women's soccer has always produced really good talent, really good teams. Baseball, we've known for sure what UM baseball is known for, right? Basketball program has really built up. Obviously, the history of the football program is out of this world. Their volleyball teams, the women's basketball team, right? What they've been able to do before. Just spread out through all the sports that they offer. They've seen the successes here and there. And when they saw Mario build it up, right, and they saw that's coming off the strength of Coach L, because you got to remember, the biggest endorser of Mario Cristobal when he got there was Coach L. He was like, we got the guy. Everybody was talking shit, and the old man said, we got the guy, right? And he was a big reason why Mario came back and all that stuff. But regardless, they saw that Coach O was having success in the way that they were doing, and they were like, you know what? Let's invest in this, because this is actually going to be able to lift the program as a whole, where we're not just thinking about the football team or the basketball team or the soccer team. No, it's going to lift all the sports up. And Rakovich has done a wonderful job of really investing in the school and the athletic department, because all those teams feel supported, bro. You ask, they ask Lucas all the time on the radio about NIL and all that stuff, and he's like, I don't have issues with it. I know how to deal with it. I know how to work around it. I have the full support of the department. So if we target players, we're able to use that same, stringent, process where we say, all right, let's take a look at the player, his background, his family, and all that stuff. Is this the type of guy that represents being Hurricanes? Because that's the same thing that they're doing in the volleyball program, same thing they're doing in the baseball program, which is having success starting last year, playing this season now. And we've seen it with the basketball team and obviously with the football team. So it works. It's working for the Hurricanes, and then you can see it with this basketball team. That's why I say, if now that, maybe you don't want to watch Heat basketball, watch Hurricanes basketball. That you're going to be entertained by watching those ACC games on ESPN. They've already played on national TV a couple of times. Really good things going on for this Hurricanes team, bro. I'm really proud of them, man. It's good for them.
I'm glad you put it on my radar. I'm excited, man.
Yeah, bro.
We were a month out from the madness, so hopefully, is there a chance if they can play well that they'll be ranked going into the
There's
tournament?
a really good chance that they finish the season right, and there's also a really good chance that they make some noise in the tournament, right, where they get a really good draw and they're able to not only make it but have a good run as well. You know what I mean? I think they really got a chance at that.
I don't know what that is either.
Me neither, dog.
There's a bunch of noises going on.
We're pushing through. We're pushing through.
Oh, we're figuring it out. Y'all can't hear it, but there's a ghost in the cabinet or something over here. We're freaking out, man.
I don't know, man.
Hurricanes, baby.
Yeah, Hurricanes basketball. Go check them out. Last thing I wanted to mention was an honorable mention. Shakur Stevenson won a very impressive fight against Teofimo Lopez. Really worked that dude up. Shakur Stevenson is showing why he's one of the best young boxers in the game right now. And that same night, we had Xander Zayas also win his belt. Those two dudes are on each other's radar, and that's a fight that I am definitely excited to see. And I'm sure a lot of the fight fans would agree. And if that fight goes down, you know I'm bringing my dog Vic in here to talk about that, dog, because that's one of those fights that has potential to be fight of the year, right? Yeah, right. Big time.
That'll be at the end of the year, closer to the end of the year.
Correct. Also got to shout out BKFC, man. They had Knucklemania. Shout out to Lorenzo, the Juggernaut Hunt.
Bro, I do the beast.
Wow, what a knockout of Dave Mandel.
Mandel's no punk, dog.
Thank you, dog.
Mandel's no punk.
No, that's a tough dude right there, dog.
And the fact that he starts them, bro, is...
Yeah. Now, granted, he took that fight on short notice, which shows like how much of a champion Mandel really is.
Yeah, but Lorenzo's
he's just a different animal, man. That dude looked healthy, dude. Remember, he had that injury with the shoulder. Dude is scary, dog. Dude is scary, man. Love to see that shit. And they got a new heavyweight champ, Andre Arlovsky, the Pitbull, man. 3-time cancer survivor, UFC legend, MMA legend, and this dude is taking over BKFC on a storm, you know, and really fucked up Ben Rothwell, man. And, you know, Ben Rothwell was a heavy favorite. Andre Arlovsky went out there and, you know, beat him up all those fucking rounds and put himself in a position where he's going to be able to dominate that sport, which I'm excited to see what happens with our guy, Perdomo. Right, and to see if he gets that matchup, because they were talking about potentially setting it up with Rothwell. Now you got to set it up with Arlovsky, and that's a very interesting fight, because that's almost like a David versus Goliath. Andre's so tight, you know. Perdomo's kind of short, stocky dude. It'll be a raw ass fight, and they're coming back in town March 20th. Joel and I are going to be there. That's Friday night. We'll let you know more as the event comes closer. But BKFC is going to be back at the Hard Rock, which is one of our favorite things to do. So be pumped for that, y'all. And
March
that's about it.
Be lit. BKFC,
it's going to be lit,
March
dog.
Madness. I mean, we need it. It's going to be...
Marlins baseball.
Well...
Maybe. It's going to be exciting. They brought out the new uniforms. They were fire, so...
You mean the old uniforms?
Yeah, the old new uniforms.
Yeah. That's the only thing that I got me excited.
Yeah, for sure.
I messed with that.
For sure. Hopefully we go to win some games in those uniforms. That'll be nice, right? That'll be nice. But we'll bring it to you here if it does happen when the Marlins start their season. You guys know what to do. It's time for you guys to tell a friend.
To tell a friend.
To tell another friend.
To tell everybody they know.
To tell everybody they know that it's all about togetherness. And you guys got to be together with us every time we do an episode, hitting that like, comment, and subscribe button. Turn on those notifications. So that until next time, y'all. Peace.